you want to hit play? Or just wait?
We should intro this probably.
Okay. How do you want to intro it?
Hi, it's Joe from CVP, and if you haven't seen our Morzine video that we just released, I would go watch it now, as this video is going to be a behind the scenes look and review of our shoot with the Ronin S. I'm also here with Jake.
Hey.
And we want to do a sort of director's commentary and run through of our experience shooting with the Ronin S in Morzine.
So yeah, we went over to Morzine, we were there for 3 nights, and basically yeah, just tell a very short, kind of brief story of mountain bikers on the mountain, just capturing the essence of mountain life out there during the mountain biking season.
It was a good test for, you know, obviously if you're shooting with a gimbal, you want to shoot something with a lot of movement. The environment was a good test for the gimbal. You know, it wasn't the easiest environment for us to work in and walk in and move around as you might see later on. I mean, just to be clear, every shot from this video was shot on the Ronin S, apart from 2 shots that we used the Mavic Pro for. A very light kit as well. So all we took with us was, for the main A-cam shots, we used the DJI S, obviously then on the Ronin S. The
main lens was the Tamron 24-70 Mark 1 IS lens. It's like a VR something. And then we had the Tokina 11-16, which is one of my favorite wide angle lenses. It's amazing. We had that on there as well, which I think most of the video was those 2. I had on my BTS kit as well, which was like an A7R3 to get stills and video. But yeah, like basically what we wanted to show in this video is just how powerful the Ronin S is, how you can do this as a solo shooter, how you can make this gimbal get a very wide range of shots and make it, it's very versatile in terms of how you can use it. And I mean, the app makes that even better so. It's a great app. It was really simple to use, and it didn't crash at all, which is more than I can say for some of the other options on the market.
And it also gave us a chance to, well, work as a team. So I could operate the gimbal and you could control the motion of the gimbal through the app. It also gave us a chance to set up things like motion laps, which is what the opening shot of our video is. So we woke up at what, 4:30 for this?
Yeah. Drove about 20-30 minutes up a mountain. I found a ropey car park spot.
I think it was someone's driveway actually.
Yeah, it was weird.
Parked in the driveway.
And then basically left the camera for an hour.
So with the app, you choose your intervals. So we did, for this clip, we did every 8 seconds, took a photo. You essentially choose your project's frame rate, so 25 frames a second, and then you choose the final clip output. So we wanted a 10-second time lapse, and then it outputs how long it's going to take to record those frames. So in this case, I think it was just over an hour, about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was about an hour of us sitting in the car.
To then give us a 10-second clip at 25 frames a second.
So obviously this is just the gimbal on its little mini tripod, which is great. It feels like almost like an extension of the gimbal. It feels really sturdy. You can get it nice and low. It's just on a rock.
Easy to set up. I think. What is the maximum amount of keyframes you can have? Because essentially you can set keyframes for movement. So you set 1 point.
I think it's 5, but I have to check.
Because this we only did 3, so you can set 1 keyframe, point it in one direction, do a second keyframe, and essentially you're creating a path for the gimbal to follow over your recording period.
Yeah, I think it came out quite well. I think the motion's nice and smooth. If you combine this with even like a slider as well, you can get some really nice movements. We didn't have a slider, unfortunately. We wanted to kind of keep the kit as backpack friendly as possible, but I think combined it with like, you know, like a Rhino slider or something, you can get some awesome stuff.
It's definitely worth waking up early for.
Yeah, it looked really nice.
Despite how cold it was.
So this is obviously on the ski lift as we were going. Is that up or down the mountain?
It's going
down.
Up.
No, it's down, isn't it?
It's up. I reversed the shot.
Okay, I mean that's
as in flipped it, not
time-wise. You know, all these ski lift shops are really good examples of how small this can be. It's an open ski lift. We've managed to get our backpacks on there, but the fact that Joe is able to operate the gimbal and get this kind of movement and composition is just a showcase of how easy it is to use when you're in such tight, confined spaces. So yeah, trying to recreate the kind of
a lot of these shots will
slider-esque.
There's lots of shots like it.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, a lot of the shots are trying to emulate either sliders or kind of jib shots where you're kind of on a crane and trying to lift up.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a bit, because there's one shot particularly with the monopod that looks great. But a lot of these are just more shots for the narrative of the video. But yeah, it's I mean, there's a couple of shots here actually of us Joe walking along quite rough terrain, and as you can see, it's pretty damn smooth, considering he's just walking alongside on a cobbly, gravelly road, and we're able to keep focus pretty well. The focus on the Ronin was kind of dependent on what lens you had on it in terms of like how it was focusing. Yeah, so with the GH5 and with we had a Metabones XL on there, and then obviously the 2 main lenses we shot with. And I mean, I think it was slightly better on the 24-70 than the 11-16, but you could
a bit more precise. But then again, when you're 11-16,
yeah, exactly, you can get away with it.
The wider field of view, it's much more forgiving.
But it is, I think the gimbal will become a much better solution for focusing when the motor comes out, and I really hope that soon. Even Xeon's one they've done isn't perfect, so hopefully DJI kind of take from the focus and, you know, make this a more kind of precise solution. And that's kind of the story of this gimbal in general. It's good at the moment, but it could get even better. But yeah, this is another ski lift shot.
It's turned out really nice. I mean, it's fortunate having ski lifts. Obviously, not every location's got to have a ski lift that you're shooting on. Yeah. But it did give us a chance to create these really nice kind of establishing kind of ground upwards shots. I can't remember for that shot. Did you have it in? Did you have it following you with the movement, or is that you controlling? No, that's on the thumbstick.
That's on the thumbstick.
Yeah, cool. I think I was a bit too scared of hanging it over and lifting it.
Yeah, I mean that's another big plus of this gimbal. The thumbstick on it is way better than the Xeon.
I still think it takes a little bit. I think we then need to get a little bit of getting used to it. Yeah. I mean, once you know, kind of fine tune.
Yeah, you can fine tune it in the app as well. So again, another like slider. So this was interesting as well. So this is a really good showcase of how strong those motors are. This is along a really rough bit of terrain.
It was kind of through the trees and the bushes.
Yeah, you kind of like made a path. Yeah.
Made a pathway to run along, and this was underslung as well. So I couldn't see what I was doing. I just knew I had to run with it underslung, and it handled it really well.
The shot looked quite cool. I know this one's in slow-mo, but even at 25, it still looks decent.
Yep.
So this one, again, another interesting one, same location, but this time we shot with a 70-200 2.8 on there. This was put on the floor.
Almost like a turret. It was just sat on the ground, waiting again, and controlling it through...
Or remotely on the phone, just to get like a pan of the bike going down. And again, you can see it's smooth. The motors are handling the extra weight fine. It's actually fairly easy to balance. It wasn't too bad.
It's a little bit awkward balancing the tilt axis. It takes a bit more work.
It's definitely manageable though, and that's great, because long lens gimbal stuff looks awesome if done right, and I think it looks really good. So yeah, this was where the monopod comes into play. I mean, we've used the monopod for some of the jib and crane style shots.
Used it quite a lot.
This one was in a burn, and basically we're here for quite a bit trying to get this right.
Yeah, it was because obviously you can't anticipate where the cyclist is gonna, what path he's gonna take. So it did take us a while to get the right shot.
Yeah, and obviously the Ronin S at the bottom of it has a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 mount, so you can actually put these slightly more expensive, heavier, dutier monopods on there. So that showcases that they are listening to professionals, because just having a 1/4 inch down there for the most part is not ideal.
And having both of them as well, if you're gonna put it on a slider, on a tripod head, you know it's not going to swivel out of place because you've got those two mounting points. But
I think once DJI start bringing out more accessories, I think they're going to kind of use the dovetail system a lot more. And that is one of the main negatives from my time using it out there, especially. There's no lock on the dovetail system, so if you catch that latch, that head is coming off of that battery grip, and it's just such an easy thing to do. It's nowhere near stiff enough.
Especially as it's right by the trigger.
Yeah, there needs to be some kind of safety there, because I've already read people.
Secondary lock.
Yeah, 100%. They really need to rethink that. So I mean, this is probably a good point to talk about the sport mode. I mean, the how fast you can follow the subjects is awesome. The motors are so responsive. And I mean, considering again some of the other options on the market, it is very whippy. Like, you can seriously turn this thing quick, and it is stable when you do it.
Strong motors.
Very strong motors, and I mean, there are a couple of shots throughout it that kind of showcase that.
So that's our first drone shot.
Yeah, it's the first drone shot. This was fun.
This was fun.
Yeah, we wanted to do a shot out of the car. Joe's driving. I was in the boot. I mean, don't try this at home, I guess, but
if you're in the Alps, please do.
So yeah, we end basically for this shot. I was sat in the boot. I didn't have any kind of harness or a seatbelt around me. I literally
was trying to really milk your danger on this, aren't you?
Yeah, it was. Dude, it wasn't even danger. It was just how unstable I was in the back. It was just again showcasing how stable the gimbal was, because of the fact that I'm literally just rolling about the boot, like running around the corners. So we had the boys following behind us.
This is our friend James again and his friends. So we met him. So I think it's about a 15-20 minute drive just to get up to the halfway point where the two ski lifts change. And so we started from there, made our way down, and it does take some time to drive down,
Yeah.
but it's good because it gave us a lot of a lot of chances to kind of get the shot right. And halfway down, we did actually stop off and change lens.
Yeah.
We started off here with the 11 to 16, and later on we then go to the 24 to 70, just to get a few tighter shots.
It handled it really well. I mean, the shots look really smooth considering the speed we're going at. But yeah, no, I think it was. I think we've got some really cool shots, and I think for like the smaller end productions that want to get these quick but like high production looking shots, this is a great solution for that, because without car mounts, this is not really achievable.
So this is at the end of the second day. We went back to where James and his friends were staying. It kind of gave us a chance to get some controlled shots. You know, with being up the mountain, one, we didn't want to interrupt their experience, and all the other cyclists there, we just want to be flies on the wall and capture what we can without interrupting people's experience. So this was a chance for us to get a few controlled shots, and gave us a great chance to try out the 360 roll, which I think tracking bike tires was the perfect subject.
Definitely.
Took us a few tries. I think it's definitely worth locking off.
I think in the BTS you can see the first take you did, it was going ridiculously fast.
This was before we locked off the pan axis. So if you don't lock off the pan axis and you're going really fast, you're going to go off center.
Yeah.
Again, another tracking shot. The views are great. It's
stunning. More sports mode stuff.
Views, you just had to take a few moments here and there just to look up and appreciate the view ahead of you. So a lot of these are going to be kind of sport shots, whip motions.
Interesting shot, this one.
So we were making our way down the side of the path and bumped into a few guys that were actually based not far from where we both used to live, and they were there recording. It was quite a big jump. That was like the main jump that people were trying to do.
Down that side of the mountain, yeah.
And so yeah, we stuck with them for a while. You know, they were quite keen for us to film them as well.
Yeah,
which is perfect, which means we could do take after take and get them to kind of cooperate with us. We were quite keen to get this tracking shot running along the side of one of them doing the jump.
Just to showcase, how rough that terrain was and how smooth
there was no clear
be.
path to run down. It was a rocky path followed by a bank which you had to jump down, otherwise you would have fallen and probably hurt yourself. And I was doing a few takes, getting close to falling over. I said, Jake, you have a go.
I'm so clumsy. It was such a bad idea.
But nailed the shot first time, but also
absolutely stacked it. Well, I mean, I saved the gimbal. I didn't really hurt myself, which is a rare occasion anyway.
It was probably the smoothest fall I've seen on camera.
I mean, you can see on the BTS the kind of impact, and obviously we were shooting this at higher frame rates anyway, but you can see it's still very smooth, even at higher frame rates, and you can see how smooth it is with me stacking it into the side of the mountain, but it came out well, and it was a story, so that's all that matters.
So this shot, the same way as how the monopod benefited us to get the high angle above the cyclist, this in the reverse, the monopod gave me a chance to kind of get low angles down the side of banks where I couldn't safely stand because I would probably get hit by a bike.
And you stretching down there with it handheld, it's so unstable.
Would have not been stable.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very, very cool use of it.
Essentially the reverse of the high angles that we got.
Yeah.
So this shot's part of a longer shot, which, well, we'll show the full thing here. But we wanted to do a more, I say complex shot, more, in fact I referenced to Jake the music video by Childish Gambino, 3005.
Yeah.
And how the camera movement in there is very, very complex. Rather than your typical pans and tilts and, try and get a mixture of all of that in one kind of controlled motion.
What was impressive with this as well is the fact that I didn't control any of this. It was all used
on the
thumbstick, which is insane. It looks really, really, really good. Because this is obviously a mix of, being able to use it properly and, timing in terms of the ski lift part that it looks so cool.
Again, I say complex motion. This isn't that complex, but it was the whole stringing on different movements in one go.
But this is something you can do in the motion lapse section, and you don't have to do it as a time lapse. You can just do it as motion. So
again,
if you want
keyframes.
Yeah, you just exactly, and then you can just hit record, and it will just record that movement, and you can do repeatable movements. So that's awesome again. But that's not what we wanted to show here. But you can do it that way as well.
Yep.
And then it's the second drone shot that we've done, and obviously it's the last kind of establishing, but the last kind of
closing the environment,
closing off of what the.
It's a beautiful place.
How stunning it was, and it was definitely stunning. So yeah, that was it. I think that the video came out really well, considering again it's a one-man thing.
A very light setup. There was no planning in this. We kind of. In fact, there's a few moments before going that we're kind of worried that we're not going to achieve what we're trying to set out to achieve, because there was no planning. We didn't know what the environment was like. We didn't know who was there, who's going to be able to film with us. But no, I think it's showed off what that gimbal can do quite well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very impressive gimbal. I mean, it kind of in its infancy at the moment. I think once DJI end up putting out more accessories for it, I think it's going to become a very universal gimbal in terms of the low to mid, and also the kind of mid to high end as well. That I can see them using it for car mounted shots and all that kind of jazz. Once
it's going to become very versatile. I mean, it is already.
Absolutely. But I mean, I think even more so once the accessories come out, and once you're able to put it into different scenarios, and that's what we've kind of tried to showcase here. But I think it will go even further once the new accessories come out. What were your final thoughts?
I want one.
The man who has everything to shoot with wants a Ronin S.
Yeah, it was easy to use. Ergonomically, I liked it. It was easy to set up. It was. My only annoyance is when packing it down, you have to
undo all the changes.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, the case isn't ideal anyway. I mean, that's something that.
But I say that, but then again, we didn't actually use the case in Morzine.
No, we didn't.
In my rucksack.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, if you've got something that's a decent size rucksack-wise, you're going to be able to put it in there.
Not a big issue, but a little bit of a time waster. So yeah, that was our look at the Ronin S and our time shooting with it. We wanted to do something a little bit different with how we were reviewing it, and we hope it's been a good way to kind of show off how well it's performed. We do have another video coming out soon, which will be an in-depth technical look at the Ronin S. Yeah, it'll be very similar to the Ronin 2 review that we had done by Outfilming, so it'll be focusing on the actual rigging of it and all the app and all the tech side of it, which will go into far more detail about how to get your exact camera system at its best on the Ronin S. So yeah, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss that, and leave any comments you have about the Ronin S down below.